So guys, a video released yesterday about the Rolex rippers, and again I've got another one today. But at the start of that video we spoke about how Britain's become a shithole, and I asked you guys for your opinions and your feedback, and literally I'd say about 95% of people were on the same wavelength, thinking that, you know, Britain's become a shithole and it's gone absolutely nuts out there. You've got, you know, people driving around at crazy speeds on 30 miles per hour roads. They're taking balloons, crashing into people, killing people. You got kids carrying weapons and just kicking off and stabbing people for no reason. A takeaway from the local kebab shops costing 35 quid as a minimum and all that. But today, again, weather's beautiful. Decided to go to Staffordshire and then on to the Peak District, and went into this little village called Rugeley, or a town called Rugeley. And one of the kids wanted a drink, so I ended up parking up and going into their town centre, exclamation marks. Literally walked in, and the demographic of people that were there, they were all old. We're talking pensioners walking around the streets, and it was very quiet. But the high street, all I saw was betting shops, vape shops, massive charity shops, another betting shop. There was actually no actual restaurants, only chains. There was actually potholes in the streets. There's only one post office there. More betting shops, graffiti on the walls, Weatherspoons. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's happened to this town? Anyway, then went on over to Dovedale, and oh my god, what a dive that's also become as well. Where's the pride gone? I mean, first of all, the road that's going up there is a bit fucked, but okay, it's understandable. You know, it's in the middle of nowhere. But then, what a cesspit it was. We're driving up, the branches are hitting the side of the car like nobody's even cut them back, and then you got some muppet driving down as well, throwing his rubbish out whilst he's driving past. No pride. And then park up at Dovedale, next to the tree, there's a full plastic bag of dog shit, like looking like revolting Christmas baubles. I don't understand the mentality of people who think it's okay to chuck rubbish around like this. There's a fucking bin there, just put it in there. But no. And then they'll start moaning when the greenery goes, and then it's like, oh my god. Even now I'm at home, I'm looking at my street like, you know, when's the last time the council actually sent somebody up to clean the streets, to sort it out? And if they can't, then surely you get the community service offenders to do it. Like, very rarely you even see that going on. So when they're doing community service, what fucking community service are they doing? Where's the pride gone in our beautiful country? Where's the pride gone in our countryside? The pride in our coastline, in the civic buildings, the pride in our historic monuments, the pride in forests, national parks and nature. Where the fuck's it all gone? Realistically, the duty should be on us to keep our streets clean, for us to pick up our mess, for us to put it in the appropriate places. But no, just become fucking lazy. Like, if you deep it, what has the UK got to offer? What we're saying, Betfred, Ladbrokes, chip shops, fried chicken places, from scams, people trying to scam you all over the place. NHS, you know what, don't get me started on that, because, you know, I'll probably write a book on that. You can't even drive your car in peace. You're driving, there's fucking cameras everywhere, there's humps everywhere, the roads are fucked. You know, if you're not damaging your car, you're getting fines for driving in bus lanes and that. And then they say go and use public transport, but the fucking buses cost more than planes and the trains cost more than fucking spaceships. What are we supposed to do? It's looking grim, guys. You know what the thing is? I'm not even pissed off. I'm upset. I'm upset because this is our country, and it's getting ruined. But yeah, anyway, onto the story about the Rolex rippers. A gang of violent robbers who roamed the affluent streets of Mayfair and Soho under the cover of night, viciously attacking strangers to steal their luxury watches, have been jailed for a combined total of 30 years. The trio, Tedros, Haley, who's 35, Mahed, Jamir, who's 24, and Christian Whittingham, who's 27, earned the name Rolex Rippers for their brutal targeted assaults on well-dressed victims in central London. On June the 25th, 2023, they unleashed a reign of fear, executing a series of carefully planned street robberies that left their victims bloody, terrified, and emotionally scarred. The weapon of choice wasn't just brute force, it was coordinated ambush disguised in the threat of fatal violence. Their first victim was Mikhail Rivas, a man walking past the Rolls-Royce showroom on Stratton Street. The night was warm, and the atmosphere of elegance soon shattered by brutality. Without warning, a white BMW pulled up nearby. All three men, faces obscured by coverings, leapt from the car and surrounded Mr. Rivas. Before he could react, they had seized his watch worth around £1,000. However, it wasn't the price that bothered Rivas. It was actually that watch had deep sentimental value. He told the police later, "I didn't feel safe leaving my flat the next morning. It felt like they'd stolen more than my watch. They took my peace of mind." So just a few hours later, after the attack on this guy, and only streets away, this time the gang struck again, this time on Brewer Street. So you had two men who had just finished watching a football match, and they were walking down the road wearing their expensive watches. However, unbeknown to them, it made them targets. So as one of them walked ahead, he was suddenly struck from behind by a blunt object, collapsing forward, stunned and disorientated, then hit with a flurry of forceful punches. During the onslaught, he heard chilling words cut through the chaos saying, get his watch, stab him in the face right now." At the same time, his pal was grabbed in a tight chokehold from behind. He handed over his Audemars Piguet replica watch worth £600. Fucking hell, he got robbed there as well. So he gave this watch without resistance. So the three men sprinted back into their getaway car, disappearing once again into the London night, leaving the bloodied victims and a street full of frightened onlookers. The Met Police swiftly launched an investigation, checking CCTV footage, witness statements and forensic evidence, and it didn't take long to piece together the gang's route, their downfall, not just their violence but their pattern. They were finally brought to justice when all three faced Southwark Crown Court, where the disturbing details of their assault were laid bare. Tedros Haley, he had a violent history and was already in breach of a suspended sentence for a previous burglary, during which he and another man broke into a flat where a woman was home alone. He was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Got Mahed Jameh, he admitted 2 counts of robbery and 1 count of attempted robbery, and he was jailed for 8 years. And you got Christian Whittingham. He also admitted to multiple counts and became the final gang member to be sentenced. He got 10 years and 6 months. The judge, Christopher Heyer, condemned the group for their deliberate targeting of vulnerable individuals in wealthy areas. He said, "These were coordinated predatory attacks. You were clearly on the lookout for members of the public wearing valuable wristwatches, and you acted without any concern for the trauma you caused." He added that the trio operated like a pack, overpowering lone individuals and couples through fear, numbers, and aggression. Detective Inspector Lizzie Beeston, who led the investigation, welcomed the verdict, said, "Our workers ensured that 3 dangerous violent individuals had been removed from the streets. These weren't spontaneous thefts. These were premeditated, calculated acts of violence, carried out in some of London's busiest and most iconic districts. People have a right to walk the streets of London without being preyed upon for what they wear." So this case highlights a growing trend in metropolitan areas targeting luxury thefts, where gangs basically they hang around in high-end shopping districts and nightlife hotspots as their hunting grounds, and then watches worth thousands, or even in this case, even replicas are enough to provoke violence. Some of these people are spotters inside the nightclubs or the restaurants, and they'll let them know who's wearing an expensive-looking watch, and then the gang outside is the one that I'm going to go and jack up. So the Met Police have stated that they've since stepped up patrols in Mayfair, Soho, Knightsbridge, urging the public to be vigilant, particularly at night. Absolute madness on the streets of London.